हेलो एवरीवन। आज मैंने अपने दोस्त को इनवाइट किया है. हिज नेम इज जेफ. ही इज एन अमेरिकन फ्रॉम न्यूयॉर्क and he's been living in China since last 6 7 years,
Yeah,
right?
7 years, yeah.
So we are going to talk about China in general, and also we are going to talk about what China is all about, and why everyone should come once in their lifetime. It's very, very interesting and very fascinating country. So I'm going to talk to my friend Jeff, and he is going to share his experiences and views about China because he's been here for a long time, and he is a teacher here. He teaches in schools. He has taught in many different schools. So let's start our conversation, and I hope you guys like it. And of course, if you have any questions and all, you can leave those questions in comments, and I'll get back to you with those with answers. All right. Okay, Jeff. So welcome to my channel.
Hi, Hassan.
All
Hi,
right.
hi.
So tell me, so you're from New York, right?
Mm.
So how do you find China?
Well, if we were to compare New York City
Mm.
to Beijing, which where we are right now, uh, I would say I like Beijing a lot more, I would say, than New York City. Uh, I used to be from Queens.
Mhm.
I was born and raised in Queens. I moved to upstate New York,
Okay.
to the capital region.
Mm.
And then I've done quite a bit of stuff back in America. I'm actually a business owner. I used to own a restaurant back
Right.
home.
Right.
And then one day I decided that I wanted to travel to China.
Out of blue.
It was originally I wanted to travel to Japan
Japan.
first, right? I had many friends who wanted to go to Japan.
It's quite popular in USA, right?
Mm.
Japan is like everyone wants to go there because you don't get negative news about Japan, is it?
Well, yeah, I don't think you get really a lot of negative news. Japan has culturally has seeped into American culture, and we find it very interesting. Okay, particularly the Japanese culture. Um, you know, Japanese media and Korean media has been going through America quite a bit now,
Right.
through anime, manga, cartoons, music. I'm not surprised that Americans have taken an interest in Japan.
Japan. Yeah.
Okay. Again, my main reasoning to traveling to Japan originally was because a lot of my friends have already moved there and they were teaching, they were doing different kinds of jobs. Some were teaching, some were agricultural farmers. That was
Really?
an interesting thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, and then one day I decided to try to go, but I ended up answering an ad to a Chinese company.
In New
An
York.
American company working in China,
China.
and I was thinking to myself, this was a nice job offer, so I came to China.
That was which year? Which year?
This was at the end of 2018.
2018.
Yeah, so
Right
going into
before COVID.
2019. I would probably say December 2018, and then January hits 2019. So let's just say 2019.
All right.
Okay.
So tell me about your experience. What do you like about China? Why did you decide to stay in China for such a long duration? And you are going to stay more, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, it's funny that you mentioned that because, again, originally I was going to use China as a transition to Japan,
Right.
right? But, you know, just kind of being here in China, particularly Beijing, I have found that it was quite an interesting life to live, I would probably say. It was very unique.
Hmm.
And it was there was a lot of culture shock
Mm-hmm.
and information that I was not aware of and I was very ignorant of.
Right.
Because, again, in terms of America, with the West per se, they would say stuff about China and it usually in a negative light, at least in terms of Western media.
Of course.
And, I was naturally born as a citizen. I'm a nationalist at heart.
Right.
I love my country. I love America.
Everyone should does that.
Yeah.
Right?
But when I first came to China after a couple of months here, I've come to realize that the media that was told to us was very biased.
Very, very biased.
Very biased. And um, I really do believe that traveling to China is a good experience for anybody who wants to do it. Um, because particularly this country, the infrastructure is very strong. The culture is very interesting. The people are very lovely.
Yeah, most of the people they have this impression about Chinese people that they're very rude because somehow they feel that they have too much love for their country, too much love for their language, too much love for everything, and they are very rude to foreigners, which is not the case, right?
I wouldn't say it's the case. Of course, there's going to be those exceptions,
Yeah,
right? Special
of
exceptions.
course. Yeah,
There's
yeah.
going to be a jerk in every country, right?
That's everywhere.
So, but for the most part, from what I've experienced, most Chinese people have been very friendly, and
Yeah.
everyone's got to understand that for years, since before the '80s and all that stuff, China has always been an all Chinese society, right? So whenever they see something new, right, of course they're going to be curious about it. They're not, or maybe they won't even understand it. It's very common in America. We fear things that we don't understand, right?
But
So
yeah.
so it's again, it's the same that would be in China, right? Some people can fear something that they don't understand.
Right.
So it's a common thought.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
But it's like most cases when I go in India also and go to some other countries, they ask any it's very very strange questions and they like completely ignorant questions. I mean, they have no idea what they're talking about, but they think they know about China. They need China. Then when I hear all these things, I get shocked. Man, China is not like that. It's like any other country and very developed country, right?
Oh, 100%. Again, I just spoke about the infrastructure.
Right.
The infrastructure is amazing here. Again, I'm from New York City, so I'm used to, the New York City subway that's open 24 hours for the most part. It's a good system, but I will tell you, Beijing's subway system, I think, is a lot better. A lot better. You got to understand that Beijing is actually huge.
Yeah.
If you were to look at the map,
300 kilometers radius.
That
I was just checking, it's like really huge. And metro connects everywhere, right?
Yep.
And it's a very cheap also,
Yeah.
not very expensive. Like some places, if you have to go by a taxi, it might cost you 100 yuan, that is 1,000 rupees. Or you would say $10 or maybe $12. But in metro, it might cost you $1, right?
Right.
Yeah, less
Yeah.
than that.
A lot less than that. I'm still using the old system of the card system in Metro in their transportation, the Beijing transportation card. They give you this little blue card, but they don't give that to you anymore. You just use your phone now. But I still have mines from when I first came here, right? And you could just keep charging it, right? But I just put a bunch of money on there and I still have like 300 yuan, 300 RMB still on there. So it's a good system. And again, when you look at the subway map, it's very easy to understand.
Very clear, right? So
very clear.
You think anyone who doesn't speak the language, it's a very user-friendly, you mean Metro?
I would say, to be honest with you, looking at it, it seems intimidating. But it doesn't matter because it still shows you the general areas of where you're going. So I think, and a lot of the subway maps, they do have the pinyin version of the subway line. Okay, and the subway lines aren't named. They're not like M train or anything like that. They're just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Exactly, 15 lanes. Right?
Yeah, and they keep on increasing it. So, and they go by colors too. So I think it's very easy to understand.
Fine. So, and what are the other things that you think people should experience in China? Like food, people, of course, we talked about food and other cultural aspects and the fascinating landscapes and all.
Yeah. So first off, you and I, before we started this thing, Hassan, we were talking about how I love to walk around, right?
Yes. Night walkers.
I'm a night walker,
That's very interesting.
Back in New York City, if you're walking around at 3 a.m., it's probably not the safest thing to do. But one thing I do want to mention here is, and everyone always mentions this all the time when they talk
Right.
about China. Oh, China is safe. Okay, and it is.
It is very
It
safe.
is ridiculously safe
Any time of the day, right?
any time of day.
You
And
could go anywhere, anytime, night, day, doesn't matter.
well, you can walk around without being harassed,
Harassed.
right?
Yes. People don't really bother you, right?
I think it's unnecessary for them to bother you because if you're walking around at 3 a.m.